Hello, anyone, everyone, and no one. My name is SlackLizard, and welcome back to Let's Play Bedrock. And in our first and previous episode here, we made ourselves a treehouse. And today, hmm, today is about to be tonight, so let's just head right back up in here real quick and sleep the night away. Good, that is a lot better now. What I want to work on today is actually going to be out here. I have had some plans and thoughts run through my head on what we can do with this area over here. The fact that we started off in a treehouse makes me wonder, how many things can we build in trees? Now, obvious the answer to that is everything, but remember, scale and episodic content has to play a factor into this. Can we build a smelter in a tree? Can we build farms in a tree? I don't know, but it is definitely going to be an interesting concept to mess around with on this small island here. But today, first things first, is I think I want to do a bit of clearing of the landscape around here. I want to try to remove the vast majority of these trees because we're going to need materials to build trees with. And I want to set myself up a mine, which is how you're going to set up a mine in a tree. Well, I think you're just going to have kind of a tree growing over the mine. So I think that is what I'm going to be doing first today. And you were the same guy I was seeing in the last episode. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a stream. As I said, I'm going to be streaming some of the grindy things. That way I can still keep my Twitch going and I can do episodic content. So I guess it's time for me to go live for a little bit, chop a few trees and dig a hole in the ground. And I'm not sure exactly which way I want to do said hole in the ground. Do I want to just more or less take it straight down with like a bubble column, or do I want to, that's cow in the tree, actually like dig it staircase wise? And honestly, I think the answer to that is going to be staircase wise, which means I have no clue what we're going to end up under. I've done absolutely no mining on this side of the map. It was all on that side of the map. And in the first season, we didn't really necessarily do a lot of mining per se. Not the kind that I'm going to be setting up here. I'm probably going to be just setting up a basic kind of strip mine. So let's do a quick fade to black and be right back. You know, one of the beautiful things about streams is sometimes you get majorly sidetracked. And while I didn't get insanely sidetracked, I did get sidetracked. I started our tunnel, which is somewhere outside. And yes, the sidetrack. What did I get sidetracked with? Fishing. I ended up doing some fishing and we got ourselves a mending lure 2 rod, couple of books here, which can be handy. And look at that bow we fished out. The first bow that I fished out of the water is just that absolutely good. Unbreaking, punch, infinity, and power. So I had to then make an anvil. And I was actually able to make an anvil by gathering up iron that I found in our tunnel here. And speaking of our tunnel, let's go over here. We've just got a little bit of a hole going straight down into the ground here. And of course, it was a metric pain to dig down. Actually, you wouldn't think it would be. Goodness gracious, can I get back up here? Because outside this cobble, yeah, that's nothing but ocean. It was a pain. But we ran across this little bit of a cave, which turned out pretty good. Did a little bit of exploring, a little bit of lighting around here, and we actually found something that was really, really useful. Well, it's going to be useful for us in the early game here because we found ourselves a spawner, and not just any spawner neither. We found ourselves, let me crack this open here, skeleton spawner. So we're going to potentially change it up today. We might as well go ahead and get us a little bit of an experience farm going so that we can get things situated out. Now, in order to get an experience farm from that thing, really all we got to do is a bit of digging. And we're going to need, we've got 1 bucket of water here. We're going to need to go back up top here because we're going to need another pick. We should have the copper to make another copper pickaxe. There is one thing I would really like. I would really like the ability to turn this into a trident killer farm. And while we've seen several drowned with trident, we've yet to tackle one. And I fear that me tackling one will probably lead to my death. Granted, we have our spawn point set, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. It'd just be rather annoying. You know, I don't know about you, but I find my first death in a game to be the most annoying. Some people don't care. Some people can die over and over and over again, and it never bothers them. And to be honest, it doesn't bother me once I've had the first one. But that first death just does not interest me. I try to avoid it like the plague. So let's go ahead and make ourselves another pickaxe here. We have a sword. We're going to need that. And let's grab a piece of iron. Grab that. And in return, let's make ourselves a shield. Got that, got that, got that. You go up to there. We have a shield. Let's swap that with that. Put the copper back in its rightful place here. Grab 3 more pieces of iron so that we can make ourselves another bucket. Not shears, a bucket. So we can have an infinite water source down there at the bottom. We'll keep the wood on us. We'll keep the sticks on us. And we will remove the pork chops from our inventory. You know what? I said we were going to make another one. Let's make another one. 3 more pieces of copper and another copper pickaxe. Okay. I drowned with a trident. Do I really want to? I mean, I could make a crusher to weaken the mobs. I could potentially as well drop them onto a campfire. Can we automate the lighting and extinguishing of a campfire to the point that we could use that as a way to soften up the mobs? I don't know. We're going to take a minute or two here, though, and we're just going to ride around this little area right here just to see if by chance we can find a trident wielding drown. It shouldn't be too difficult. The problem is they don't have the best chance in the world at dropping their tridents. Kind of ironic, if we were to go that way, we would have plenty of tridents over there in the old area, but that area sadly is off limits for quite a while. We're not going to extend. Is that even a word? We're not going to spend a metric amount of time on this. We'll give this a few minutes, and we're either going to get really lucky or we're just going to do this the manual way. There's a lot of drowned out there, but I don't see one at this moment in time with a trident. All right, we're going to deal with one problem at a time here. Get rid of that. And first things first is let's go down here and do a little bit of digging to clear out an area where we can actually start to farm skeletons for experience. And oh my god, bones. That's going to be a great thing to have early on too. So in a typical fashion here for a mob spawner farm, I'm sure a lot of you know how these things work. But I'm sure there's also going to be new people that have absolutely no clue, because new people are constantly joining the Minecraft world every day. And with new people, there comes new people not knowing what needs to be done or how to even do certain things. So sometimes I may over-explain things here while I'm doing them, and this might be one of those instances here. So what I want to do with this is farm the skeletons so that I can get experience and bone drops. Now, a mob spawner, which is what this is here, spawns mobs in 4 blocks around the spawner here. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll never get a skeleton that will spawn there from that spawner. So we're only going to take this thing out 4 blocks on each side so that we can try to optimize the amount of spawns we get from this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 over there. They will spawn, I think it's like 2 or 3 blocks above, 2 or 3 blocks below. I can't remember the technical detail on that one. It's been a while for me since I've really delved into it. A typical spawner farm, not something I use much anymore, but it still does have its purposes, and a lot of people use them. I typically go for a more generalized mob farm, but today we're not. Now, of course, I've done blocked off the top of the spawning cage with solid blocks here. That way, no skeletons will spawn on here and not fall off and go down to where I want to eliminate them from. The 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to knock out these here as well and dig them all out. And then we're going to need to dig down in the floor a couple of blocks as well. Won't take too long. Really one of these things that doesn't take that long to set up. Now, here's a question that I have for you out there. If you were going to be building yourself a spawner farm at the beginning of a new world and you did not have access to a trident, what kill method would you go for to kill your mobs from the mob farm? Now, I still want to get the experience, which means I have to kill them myself, and without a trident to do it, I have to use either my fist or a weapon. But I don't want to keep them at full health. As I was saying earlier, I want to soften or weaken the mobs so that it's relatively quick for me to kill them. What method would you go about doing? I know 2 or 3 different ways that I would do it, and I think we've already talked about them a few times here, but it's an interesting question. How would you go about doing it yourself? Let me know. I'm curious of the different ways that different people would go about doing this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're just going to fill in all this over here. That's dug out. That's dug out. And this is all almost dug out. Another minor thing that some people may not know with Bedrock Edition, which is the version of Minecraft which we are playing here, spawners actually are not the same as they are on Java Edition. In a typical fashion, in Java Edition, mobs will spawn in every one of these blocks that we have dug out here, all the way over to the corners. Bedrock Edition is not the same. It goes out 4 blocks like that. It goes out 4 blocks like that. And then it starts to pyramid in. I think it's more like that. I think it's like 3 out on this side, 3 out on this side. It's been a long time since I've really dug into the technical details. But like these corner spots, no. Not a thing, unless there's been a recent change that I've not been aware of. They actually don't spawn like that. All right, now that we have all that cleared up, let's do a check again here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that would all go there. I'm gonna go ahead and block off all this. Cobble is a hideous block at this moment in time, but it is about the only thing we have got since we are super early game. Now we're gonna go in here and take out this floor at least 2 blocks lower. Probably gonna do it 3 because we're gonna use water to force the mobs across to our kill area. And if it's just too high and say the water is all flowing from this side over here this way, oh, no, no, no. This is not how this is supposed to work. Stop it. Stop it. Bad. Bad. You could potentially get a skeleton bouncing its head on that there. So we're going to take it down 3 blocks to just be on the safe side here. Quick. We did bring sticks. Let's go ahead and grab this, that, and that. Guys, we're about to break our last copper pick, and we're going to need another one. So let's grab and fill that hole back in with cobblestone there. We're going to eventually need a place to work from and do enchanting down here. So let's just kind of set this here for now. Let's get ourselves a furnace. But the problem is I don't have no fuel. I don't really want to go all the way back up to the surface. Please tell me we have some coal around here somewhere. That's more copper there. Oh, come on. We got to have just a few pieces of coal around here somewhere. There we go. A little bit of coal there. So let's grab that so that we can smelt down this little bit of copper here real quick. Thank you. That should be more than enough. Let's go put that into the furnace and put that copper in there so that we can make another pickaxe. You take that and that. Shouldn't take but just a moment here. Let's go ahead and keep mining until this one breaks, and then we'll make a new one. You know, with this copper update here, I'm kind of 50-50 on the new tools and the new armor. Me personally, I don't really think they're going to be all that impressive, but copper is a lot easier to find than, let's say, iron is at the beginning of the game. Though neither of them are very difficult to find. I don't know. What do you all think about it? Is it something that you're excited about? You know, new tools and armor? I think aside from like maybe the first day, or unless you're trying to do a really slow playthrough, the tools and the armor, aside from being a decorational thing, I don't think they're going to be used a lot. I mean, there's, from my understanding, just a little bit worse than iron. And meh. That's about all I got for it is meh. I don't think it'll be too beneficial. Right, so we've got that dug out. Now we need to dig out a trench of where our mobs are going to be going because we want to get them away from the spawner. So we're going to take all this out right through here, and we're going to temporarily put a torch in there so we don't get nothing to spawn here. We're going to dig out a little bit more this way, and we need to go ahead and put our water down here so that we can have an infinite water source. And for those of you that didn't know, it's really easy to make an infinite water source in Minecraft. Just one water source in a corner like that, another one like that, and now anytime you pull out of here, the water will refill. There's other ways as well, but that's just my go-to way. You know, we all have our go-to ways. We learn something, and that's our way. And like this, we have water there and there. Now that one's infinite, and we can just carry that across all. So, and just like that, we have water all the way across here. So that is going to push all of our mobs that spawn down here. We're going to need to do a little bit more digging around. Now, somewhere around here, there is a magic number. And for the life of me, I can't remember that number at this moment in time of how far I need to get the mobs away from the spawners so that they do not count towards the spawner's cap, because it has a cap. If there's so many of the skeletons or the type of mob that's supposed to spawn from those around it, it won't spawn new ones. And I can't remember that magic number. We've got to get them. It's either 8 to 12 or something like that. So what we're going to do, all those are going to spawn, come down here. They're going to hit this, and they're going to go down here. What we're going to do is take this down a little bit. Oh, God, I thought that was a skeleton. That just gave me a minor heart attack, and all it was a piece of cobble dropping. All I seen was the shadow as I was looking down to dig there. I don't need that right now. Now, what we're going to do is we have to stand so close to that thing for it to be active. Like if I back up to somewhere along in here, it stopped with the fire animation, which means it won't spawn. That's actually a lot more, that's a lot closer than I thought I had to be. So let's drop these guys down a little bit, which means they will also take a little bit of fall damage. Now, let's fill her up right here. What we're going to do is block off the tunnel. They have nowhere to go except but to fall down there. Ooh, I don't want to fall. I do not have feather falling yet. That could be quite painful. Make that jump. Move that. Goodness gracious. So this is tight confined quarters. We'll do that, and we'll do that, and we'll do that. I don't want them to be able to shoot at me. And so at that point, I got to dig it out more. Never ending. Now, I say again, at this point, we should be ready to more or less spawn skeletons and then kill them. Let's take this area out here. We're going to have to put in some additional things here in time so that we don't get killed from all. So for now, let's grab the wood, make ourselves a crafting table, and we'll put that here temporarily. Make a slab. We're gonna have the skeletons spawn onto that slab right there. Now, if we were to go up there and knock the torches off of the inside of this, it should start spawning skeletons. So let's take that one out and that one out, and of course I have one on the inside too. I really don't want to get knocked in there with them. You go away. Yep, there you go. There's 4 skeletons. You all go ahead and fall down in there. Yep, good job. Fill all this back in here. So it's a nice dark room in there. And if we come down here, we should have skeletons, which we do. I want to grab that. Thank you. Don't shoot at me. And we should start getting more here in just a moment. We're definitely within radius of the spawner to keep them spawning. Give me another skeleton. Oh, there's another one. Let's take a peek up here to see what is going on. Hanging on the edge. Okay. That's annoying. We really could use a coral fan or two to deal with that, but I don't have one yet. Or do I have silk touch? Can I mine coral fans with shears or something like that? I'm entirely unsure. But see, at this point, while we can kill them, punching them to death is painful, and using something like this does damage, but at the same time, it is just going to eat the durability of our tool, especially without mending. Okay, let's grab that stuff. And from here, we're going to need to gather up a few. And definitely are going to be needing a few more materials in order to get that thing situated out. And what I thought was going to turn into one episode is now going to turn into two. And well, seeing as I'm also the recorder and editor, there's actually a third one after that. But the third one's now going to be the fourth one. And the second one is now going to be the second and third one. Just kind of one of the side effects of editing this series. I know where I want to go with this, and I don't want the episodes to go too long and skip over the point of what this series is supposed to be. So that being that right there, that's what we're going to call this one an episode. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I forgot my own outro. How does that even work? How do you forget your own outro? Well, let's just start it all over again. That being that, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. And on that note, I'll catch all of you all in the next one. Oh, also, video upload schedule. Yes, I know. I just did the outro now. I'm saying video upload schedule. Video upload schedule is currently at this time going to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If I get a stockpile of episodes ahead, we may go down to 4 episodes a week. Now, Friday's video is subject to change. I'm thinking one Friday it's going to be a tutorial, and the next one it is going to be a truly Bedrock episode. That's my plan at this moment in time. But if I don't have a tutorial, then it's just going to turn into a Let's Play Bedrock. And if I don't have a TB episode, well, Let's Play Bedrock as well. And why does my head look massive on my body? That looks weird, right? No. Anyways, I'll see you all. It doesn't line up right. Look, the head is bigger than the shoulders. That's, I'll see you all in the next one. Minecraft, you're confusing me right now. That's weird.